Steinmetz Hall is celebrating its one-year anniversary. I have theater and arts writer Matthew Palm here. So, Matt, a wonderful addition to downtown Orlando, and as you spent many times in this theater, tell us about it.
Well, Rich, you nailed it right there with a wonderful addition. In fact, I will go a step farther if this word gets tossed around a lot or this phrase, but it really is a game changer for Orlando. It has been a remarkable addition to our art scene. The Art Center tells us more than 100 acts have already performed there. And, we're getting big names, we're getting better quality. The reason why it's such a great place, as you may remember, is the acoustics are so good as an N1 rating, which is a technical thing that just means the sound is going to be really good and you're going to hear what you want to hear, and you're not going to hear what you shouldn't hear outside the theater.
Yeah, and someone like you that spent a lot of time, I like that you've kind of dug into some facts about it to help people. But one that I thought was really interesting is just how much the theater has moved and the distance it's moved over the year. That was pretty cool.
Yes, Rich, that theater, that shell that changes it from an in-the-round concert hall to a more traditional-looking theater, it has been on the move this year. Apparently, the center says they have been tracking this, and it has gone the length of 7 football fields over the course of the year, which, for something that, weighs a ton, that's a pretty big movement. That's a lot of changing it around, and we've seen it in the different configurations, like I said, in the round, which has the added benefits of if you sit at a classical music show on the sort of backside of the orchestra in the round, you can actually see the conductor's face. That may sound crazy, but most of the time you never see the conductor's face. You're watching the back of him as he gets the orchestra moving. So that is exciting. And then for more traditional things like opera, ballet, we all sit and face front. And, there's a whole different look because of the way that this shell can move.
Yeah, let me ask you, as someone that's spent time in the theater in different places, is there a part of the theater that may not be the greatest? I mean, if it is moving, are sightlines pretty decent for everyone?
I have always had excellent sightlines. I have sat really close on the ground floor. I have sat in the back of the ground floor. I have sat on the side, a level up. I have sat more toward the center, but 2 levels up. There is a 3rd level up that I have not sat on yet. So I'm going to. And I tell you, the sight is good. The sound is good. Only one time did I have a small problem, and that was just because they had extended the stage for a special performance. And the extension then the sightline was interfered with by the safety railing because I was sitting upstairs. But I'm not going to advocate we get rid of the safety railings. And like I said, that was one special case, and I've never seen that problem since.
Yeah, you say that because one of the things you said was, don't look down in this place.
Well, I have been told, now I don't suffer from vertigo. I don't have a fear of heights. I'm fine. But I'm told by those who do that it can be a little daunting up in those upper tiers. And I will say that it is a pretty steep rake. Now, this, of course, is to the benefit of everyone. When you're sitting down, the steeper it is, the easier it is to see over the people sitting in front of you. And the closer you feel to the stage, also, it lets them condense the depth of the theater. So you really are closer to the action on the stage. But for those who suffer from fear of heights, it then can look a little intimidating when you're working your way up there.
Yeah, also, you mentioned the acoustics in this place, and I thought this was pretty interesting. Those acoustics extend out to the audience members, and if you're a loud whisperer, you're just going to be heard.
Oh, Rich, the things that I've heard in that theater. I mean, people just talking about the performance while it's going on, even complimentary. It's still so rude. I sat in one thing, a world-class pianist on the stage, and I can hear someone saying, oh my God, the pianist is so, so good. And I'm like, yes, so be quiet so we can hear him. I mean, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, which gets to this, and I never thought I'd see these words plugged up against these words, but world-famous gummy bears. Apparently that's a thing at Dr. Phillips.
Well, their sign says so. Now, I have asked in the past about it, and the PR people were like, well, they're good, but, I'm not sure what makes them world famous. So it might just be kind of a joke by the sign people. But I will say, I recommend any snack for Steinmetz that makes no noise when eating, and gummy bears fits that bill.
Yeah, and while we're on these fun topics, another one was the sinks. Anyone who's been to Dr. Phillips, if you try to put your hands under the sinks, sometimes it doesn't fit, but that doesn't be the case. Seems like Steinmetz Hall got this right.
Yes, it was very strange when the Art Center first opened. Anyone who's been to the Disney Theater, at least in the men's room, I cannot speak for the ladies, of course, but in the men's room, the sinks are designed very curiously that you really have to angle your hands to get them in there under the water. The basin is very close to the faucet. They did not repeat that in Steinmetz. Even though it's a symmetrical building, the bathrooms on either end have different sink heights, and that is very important, and they're better at Steinmetz.
Yeah,
Pro
so
tip.
So we had some fun, but as an arts writer, the future for this place, it really does seem like it's a great addition to Orlando, and I imagine you look forward to seeing more out of it.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at the top quality performances, when you look at the names that have come in, I mean, and they really are living up to their idea of arts for everyone. When you consider, I mean, we've had everything from the kids shows with Peppa Pig in there, all the way to classical music greats like Yo-Yo Ma and Yuja Wang, dance from Africa, flamenco. I mean, it's just broadening what we see in Orlando and the quality surroundings in which we see it. And also with all these groups coming in, we can't overlook or ever underestimate the importance it is for our local organizations, the Orlando Philharmonic, Orlando Ballet, Opera Orlando, the Bach Festival of Winter Park has performed in there, Central Florida Community Arts has been in there. And it gives these organizations a lift too. I mean, it was thrilling to see Opera Orlando's Rigoletto, which also featured the musicians of the Philharmonic and dancers from the ballet, and to see these three groups all together in this hall that everyone waited so long for. You can't beat the feeling, Rich. You really can't.